A single tree once lined every road the Roman legions marched. Its fruit fed empires for 5,000 years. Chinese emperors guarded its secret with the death penalty, and early American colonists were legally required to plant it. It produces up to 500 pounds of fruit a year with zero inputs. No fertilizer, no irrigation, no care at all. You plant it once, and it feeds your family for generations. Then, in the 1980s and the 1990s, American cities began passing laws making it a crime to plant it. Tucson banned it in 1984. Las Vegas followed in 1991. Then El Paso, Albuquerque, Phoenix, and dozens of others. The official reason was pollen. The real story is a masterclass in bureaucratic blindness and the systematic erasure of free food. Welcome to Nature's Lost Vault. The archive opens in the Yellow River Valley of China, around 2700 BCE. An empress named Lei Zhu is sitting beneath a tree when a small cocoon falls into her hot tea. She watches the filament unwind in the water. It is continuous, impossibly fine, and it shines. She holds up one thread to the light and understands she is looking at the foundation of an empire. The tree whose leaves produced that cocoon was the white mulberry, Morus alba. What Lei Zhu discovered that morning would be worth more than gold for the next 4,000 years. The secret of silk. Chinese emperors issued one of history's most severe trade protections. Anyone who revealed the secret of the silkworm to a foreigner faced execution. For 3,000 years, that penalty held. Old texts record sacred mulberry groves used as sites of ritual. During the Han Dynasty, silk paid taxes, wages, and government salaries. This tree was not just a crop. It was the currency of human civilization. The secret eventually escaped. Around 550 CE, two Nestorian monks hollowed out their wooden walking staves, hid silkworm eggs and mulberry seeds inside them, and smuggled them to Constantinople. They handed the Byzantine emperor what the Chinese had died to protect. By the time the Roman legions were marching across Europe, they were already planting black mulberries for their fruit. The Romans knew the delicate berries perished too quickly to transport. So wherever they camped, they planted. The tree followed the empire's roads like a footprint. Excavations of Roman settlements near the Thames have found mulberry seeds in the soil, rooted there before the 5th century CE. Centuries later, when Spanish explorer Hernando de Soto moved through the American southeast in the 1540s, he recorded the Muskogee people eating dried mulberries, mixing the berries into cornbread, and pressing them into dye. The native red mulberry had been feeding people here long before any European arrived. King James I of England saw the tree differently. He wanted silk. In 1609, he wrote letters to his lords urging mass mulberry planting. In 1623, he issued a royal decree for the Virginia colony. Every planter had to cultivate 10 mulberry trees for every 100 acres owned, or face a heavy fine. Virginia Governor William Berkeley had mulberries planted along the James River at Jamestown and established a nursery at his own estate. Thomas Jefferson planted them every 20 feet at Monticello. Benjamin Franklin organized immigration of silk workers to Pennsylvania to work alongside them. The American silk industry ultimately failed. The labor was too expensive, but the trees thrived. They escaped cultivation, hybridized with native red mulberries, and by the 19th century were growing wild across the entire eastern countryside. Everyone had access to the fruit. No one had to buy it. It simply appeared. And the fruit, by any nutritional measure, was extraordinary. A mature mulberry tree produces massive harvests for decades. In dried form, the berries contain 12 grams of protein per 100 grams. That is comparable to eggs, but from a tree that costs you absolutely nothing to maintain. Iron content reaches 1.85 milligrams per 100 grams of fresh weight, higher than most berries. For older adults managing fatigue and anemia, that number matters. But the real medical power lies in the polyphenols. Peer-reviewed analysis has confirmed the dominant bioactive compounds in mulberry fruit: anthocyanins, resveratrol, rutin, and chlorogenic acid. Resveratrol, the same anti-aging compound made famous by red wine research, is present at levels that actively protect the heart and suppress cancer cell proliferation. Studies confirm it inhibits the growth of lymphoid, myeloid, breast, prostate, and colon cancer cells. The anthocyanins reduce systemic inflammation, reduce oxidation of low-density lipoprotein cholesterol, and improve mitochondrial function. The anti-diabetic properties are the most staggering of all. Mulberries contain a rare compound called 1-ostdeoxynogyramycin, DNJ. It directly inhibits the enzyme in your gut that converts carbohydrates into glucose, acting as a natural blockade against blood sugar spikes. A study in 2013, published in PLOS1, confirmed that mulberry polyphenols activated the AMPK pathway, reduced insulin resistance, and improved glycogen synthesis in diabetic subjects. A systematic review covering 15 clinical and laboratory studies, published in 2023, concluded that mulberry polyphenols produced measurable improvements in blood sugar control, cholesterol levels, and visceral fat across 8 to 12-week intervention periods. The fruit growing free in backyards across America was a metabolic medicine that pharmaceutical companies are now scrambling to replicate in pill form. Then came the bans. The mechanism was pollen. In the 1950s and the 1960s, cities across the American Southwest needed fast-growing shade trees for their rapidly expanding streets. Urban planners did not want the mess of fallen fruit staining new sidewalks, so they made a catastrophic ecological choice. They planted male mulberry trees exclusively. Male trees produce no fruit, clean, fast, and convenient. Municipalities planted them by the tens of thousands. At its peak, El Paso alone had an estimated 75,000 white mulberry trees within city limits. The problem is that male mulberry trees are among the most prolific pollen producers on Earth. Their stamens release pollen at over half the speed of sound, one of the fastest biological processes ever recorded. In these concentrated urban plantings, pollen counts climbed to extreme, unnatural levels. Asthma rates spiked. The cities had accidentally engineered a public health crisis. The logical solution would have been to replace the male trees with female, fruit-bearing mulberries. Female trees produce zero pollen. Instead, local governments issued a blanket ban. Tucson in 1984, Las Vegas in 1991, El Paso in 1992. Albuquerque eventually banned the entire genus Morus within city limits. The El Paso ordinance was clear. It was unlawful to sell or plant any mulberry tree within the city. Not just male trees, not just the non-native white variety. Any mulberry, including the female trees that cause no allergies at all. Note exactly what this accomplished. It outlawed the female trees. It criminalized a food system that would have given every urban household access to decades of free fruit, free medicine, and free nutrition. In a region where food insecurity and diabetes rates are among the highest in the country, cities chose to eliminate the one tree that grows without permission, produces without cost, and eliminates the need for a grocery store. The commercial berry industry did not object. Today, blueberries, marketed as the ultimate antioxidant superfood, command $5 a pint at retail. They require annual replanting, intensive irrigation, and commercial harvesting. A mulberry tree drops its fruit whether you pay for it or not. You cannot charge a premium for something that falls freely onto your lawn. By the time the allergy bans arrived in the 1980s, there was no agricultural lobby left to defend the mulberry, because a tree that requires zero chemical inputs generates zero revenue for the companies that profit from agricultural dependence. The pattern was already well established. Since the 19th century, agricultural manuals had classified freely growing mulberries as nuisance species, too vigorous to control, unsuitable for commercial cultivation, precisely because they could not be owned. But the tree is stubborn, and it is unkillable. It still grows in ditches, hedgerows, and forgotten corners of suburban lots across every temperate region of the country. It persists exactly the way it always has, without permission, without any need for the systems designed to profit from hunger. Today, permaculture communities and food forest advocates are planting it again. You can order a grafted, fruit-bearing female mulberry from specialty nurseries for under $30. A grafted tree begins producing within 2 to 3 years. It needs no fertilizer, no irrigation, no annual seed purchase. You simply return with a basket. The berries can be eaten fresh, dried into a high-protein concentrate, pressed into juice, or fermented into wine. The leaves can be brewed into a tea that actively inhibits post-meal glucose spikes. Every part of the tree is edible. Every part is medicine. If you have 25 square feet of ground, plant a female mulberry this spring. Come back in 3 years with a basket, and with the knowledge that you are doing what Roman legions did across a continent, what Chinese emperors guarded with executions, and what modern cities systematically tried to prevent. The tree does not care about the laws. It will produce anyway. If this vault opened something for you, subscribe to Nature's Lost Vault and hit the bell. Every like and every share preserves what they tried to erase. The next vault opens soon.